对the general chat. Thank you, Hin. Okay. Let's see. Coming up to the AMA questions. See. Well, not that much questions, it seems. Let's see, we should wait another minute. Just fiddle around with some stuff. Let's see. Okay, we're about to begin. So, slow Sunday night, it seems. Alright. Welcome to the AMA, guys and dudes. Feels like it's been a while since I last did an AMA here. Alright, let's get some quick updates out of the way and then jump to the questions in the channel. Alright. So, update on the current status. All eyes on the boss right now. This was just in last week. We're having a lot of fun with it. But yes, we made it a bit too hard. Not a lot of people can get past it, so we'll likely be adjusting the difficulty and also fix some of the bugs to ensure we can play it on the 12th. I've also been sending the build out to some of our investors to try, but the investors don't seem to be great gamers. So, one of them even managed to die on the very first stage. And it's almost impossible to do that unless you don't press any buttons. Yep, he just skipped all he skipped all the instructions and everything and didn't read. Didn't even know he could move his avatar. But anyway, it was funny. And then so yeah, well, not much. Just told them that get a hang of the demo and have to line them up for the upcoming events. So basically, we'll go like full guns blazing at this first demo. We'll try to make rounds, doing showcases around different communities, getting them to join in on the leaderboard events. Not just the normal leaderboard, but the crossed-out one. But it wouldn't be that much. We decided that because to be honest, this demo is more like a showcase of what's to come. It's very straightforward. The replayability isn't that high other than trying to get time. The roguelike element isn't in yet. There's no much choices, to be honest, in there. The bigger upgrade will come in the second phase, which would be March. And that's around 1 month after Season 1. With that, I think we can push for a bigger campaign out there. And even after that, Season 3 with the PvP, that's when we can make the most noise because from a viral angle, it's always better to be able to more interaction elements because PvE, solo play, while fun, still lacks that talking point. Remember the last AMA we had in the Twitter space oh crap, I forgot what they're called. Um, the one with the Discord game. Um, the ability for people to kill each other is just awesome. So we can do that, and with that, we'll we'll do a lot more marketing and campaigns around it, and hopefully the people are more back and full from the holidays. It's still quite hard to reach out to the people now. I mean, a lot of the QLs still seem to be on holiday somehow. Um, but it doesn't really matter because we do want to target the communities more than the KOLs and the retailers. There's been a noticeable drop in all KOL metrics, but their costs are not dropping. It's just sad and doesn't make sense. But we can go from community to community, doing more grassroots conversion, doing AMAs, converting them one by one, making events, working on collabs. I think that's a more clear goal and clear way which we can head on with marketing. This is especially true when we're looking at the Web3 market. It's a dwindling market with less and less people in it, to be honest. But at the same time, the quality of the people that's left, I think, is a lot higher. But they do have a lot higher loyalty to each of their own projects and groups. So we'll take another method with which we can gather their power. It's not like we're trying to get them here and then sacrifice or leave their own group. But I think it's important we find ways to work together as a team, so to speak, sort of in a more metaverse sense. With the playable demo, I believe it's a lot easier to reach out. Last time we did AMA with Surgeons, one of the NFT groups, the response was great. There was like 60 people in there, and all the Surgeons holders showed up, and they really enjoyed the game. And we're talking about letting them do a little, very limited accounts to test the 12th build together. Well, we'll see where this takes us. I think it can get some great marketing with a lot of different alpha groups going out there in February. All right, and as for the roadmaps, the updates, hope you guys read the Medium piece. There's a lot of dates and suggestions there. Even more, we'll also update the roadmaps and also the white paper coming up probably after the demo release. Still, we want to put all the focus is right now still on the demo right now. So Lawmaster is like pushing LoreKeeper to get everything out, even on the 18th. He wants. We'll see. LoreKeeper is still quite adamant that doing on the 27th would be safer. Chinese New Year is too much of a hassle to do it over there. But Lawmaster, Lawmaster really wants to get it out on the 18th because he just wants the team to move on and start clearing other deliverables instead of focusing on the demo itself. Because developers always like to get into the details and smooth out the process. But to be honest, again, this is season 1. The roguelite and everything is not in. Should we put so much effort into remodeling or into fine-tuning these stats? In the long run, well, Lawmaster is always right. But yes, I mean, this is still our first major public appearance as a game, so it's understandable that everyone wants to get the best out there, even though the gameplay and the core itself may not necessarily need so much minor adjustments. We'll see. It's always a hard-on debate, but well, let's see what the people think. So after the demo launch, we'll finalize a lot more dates with a lot more details, and then that's when we'll update the white paper, the website, the roadmaps with more detailed. Again, not concrete dates. I think more concrete dates can come at the beginning of each month. Or in these AMAs or in my journals. It's really tough getting the dates down. I'll write a piece next week to let you guys know what it's like. But an overview of what it's like is that, well, first you need the internal build, which we test. It's always buggy and bare bones structure. Always have placeholders, not the best. From that, you need the bug fix. You need to go for an internal round before we go on to the community rounds. In between the internal and the community round, sometimes I'll add some of I think we'll try to release some to the wranglers or to some of the core holders the primals or the divine maybe to let them take a sneak peek. But to be honest, I want to do that, but it's always not a great idea. Again, people who play the game always look into it as a more critical review. But with games buggy and not complete, I mean, it would be a lot of redundancy. So we need to set the expectations and objectives right, which is why I think coming up closer to the demo launch, I'm going to invite Jim, one of our co-founders, on the EVA and Funny Omega side. He's the oldest developer here, and he's the first generation game developer in Hong Kong, and he's sort of the master QA guy in the company. And I'm going to have him run a crash course on what's it like to be a proper QA, what the development process is like, and then how we as gamers or premium holders can test the game and give constructive and actionable feedback. And of course, in the future, when our UAT tests comes, the proper reporting and what we expect, we'll have Big Jim discuss about it. So yeah, it would be interesting to listen to such an old timer. This guy has been developing games since a lot of you before you guys were born. So yeah, a lot of interesting stories over there. I'll see when we can line up that AMA, but it'll probably be not in these wee hours. It will be more in the office hours. I'll make sure to have it recorded in a sense. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Tokenomics. Yeah, there'll be a big tokenomics update. Right now we're circling amongst the advisors and the investors. Again, it's pretty slow, the progress. I think everyone is still drunk from New Year's or something. But the progress is going, and a general preview of what it's like is that a lot of vesting has been doubled, almost, well, not exactly doubled, but stretched a lot longer over the 60 months for pre-seed, seed, and we broke it into two phases. The first 50% will be according to the token launch schedule, a slightly shorter monthly unlock cliff. But the vesting has been extremely dragged out. The other 50% is also under a much longer vesting schedule, but it will be begin to unlock when we go for the full launch. So again, I've said we're only going for the battle launch with the token generation. The planet simulation side, I think we'll be on holding that until the market shows clear signs that we're out of this recession and winter phase. Yeah. And then the extra thing is on contract for the pre-seed and seed and private round investors, we will require them to sell via our market makers instead of selling them themselves. Sort of like how Sandbox is doing it to their investors. Most of the investors are very supportive with these plans. They all understand the hardship that a lot of people will be facing in the coming time. So it's great. And a lot of them have tested Everon, and they're very happy and excited to see what's going to happen. So everything is going great, actually, on the investor side. And a lot of them are in talks right now, even before the equity round is opening up. And finally, getting in touch with Skymavis. I think getting on the Ronin chain is still one of the key things and short-term goals that we are actually trying to discuss. Because looking at DEX launches, that would be probably the top choice for Lawmaster to get on Ronin and kind of and work with Skymavis more like a publisher model. It would be the safer bet in his eyes. And the CEXs, it's the effects of the CEX and still the fallout of the FTX. It's not as not as hopeful as intended, but we'll see. We'll talk about more on this after the demo as we finalize more of the dealings with the CEX and our things and our discussions. We'll also be talking with a lot of different exchanges. I'll give some summary in our development journal as what each other is thinking, the pros and cons, and we can discuss it as a community as well. Okay, final one is for the week of January 16th to Chinese New Year. I'll be talking to the overseers tomorrow to cut out all community events except for the major ones, like the demo registration and everything, and keep things quieter and later so we can readjust the entire structure of the server, not just external but also internally, the rewards, the daily program, and everything. Because, well, a lot has been happening, a lot of reviews and everything, but progress seems to be so slow, the changes is not happening because there is actually a lot to change. And, well, it's never easy to make huge changes, but it's always good to collect all opinions and do a once over. And hopefully, you all will be back in Chinese New Year looking at a leaner, cleaner, and more easier to understand server and a game, of course. One of the main things we want to do is to simplify the messaging. Well, what's to look forward to? But okay, let's move on to the EMA. 38 are here, right here. All right. Let's see. Starting from my pinned message. Also, when is the release of the neutral skills? Right now, I think I talked about this in the council chats. So I'll send the function out. Maybe I can send it out now as well. Maybe I'll just have one of the council members send the skill out. I mean, the card is not made yet. It should appear on the marketplace, but it's not in the top of the priority right now. Each class have one neutral skill, and yeah, that's the plan so far. The skill details, I'll ask one of the council or the masters to just post it in general, and yeah, but yeah, again, it will show up in the future, but I don't think there's a fixed time for that right now for Law Scribbler. But anyway, would definitely be maybe after the demo launch. More details about the Apostle merging. Highly encourage you guys to play Dungeon Maker. So how it works is you can merge two apostles of the same class, if I'm not mistaken. Once you do that, you will have a choice to switch out one of the skills. For example, you have the main apostle class A and the consumption target apostle B. Once you consume it, you can select one of B skills to be replaced in your core apostle skill list A. Switch one out. Or if one of the skills in Apostle B's list is the same as the one you have in Apostle A, you can choose to upgrade, level up that skill. Yes, the skills themselves have levels, just like when you test in the demo. There's like 10 levels in those skills. There's a certain amount of levels for the Apostle skills too. You level it up by consuming another Apostle with the same skill. That's pretty much it. Doesn't consume anything. Well, I mean, like not crypto tokens or anything. More in-game currencies may be consumed. But if it's according exactly it's the same as Dungeon Maker, then it does not cost anything. It's just consuming the other apostle. So we'll do a little preview, and I'll probably preview it and go with the Twitter and a little earlier on the Primeval Spec Ops as the function rolls out. You'll be seeing a lot more of this Season 2 stuff over February. Okay, because since owning a planet and demo is much like the lunar and solar parent but more than 1 hour playtime, how does the clearing work? Does it stack per planet you have each time you clear? Let's clear the game multiple times with multiple solar lunar grants you more rewards. Originally, that's what I intended, but sadly, that does invite a lot more grinding and alts, and it may not necessarily invite more people. Instead, it may invite more exploiters or invite more grinders trying to hog the solar and lunar passes instead of getting them into more hands out there. So this was revoked by Lawmaster and LoreKeeper. So right now, each wallet, each account registered on our marketplace is only entitled to one set of reward. It doesn't matter how many more solar and lunar passes you stack on there, the rewards will be the same. But if you look at from a game time perspective and you want to challenge the leaderboards or to participate in the events, then you definitely want to add a lot more game time into it, considering there's also season 2 and 3. Each season comes with a bigger reward pool, bigger events, so you probably definitely want to add more game time over the course. Each season will have 2 airdrop of game time for the planet holders, especially the premium holders. So it can hopefully encourage more purchasing of the premium planets if people find the game to their liking and they enjoy it and they want to get ready for the game and the token launch and the allocation and the airdrops, yada yada. Number 2, is there a date soon on the star utility and earning? It's definitely in February. But LoreKeeper will have to tell me after the demo launch. This is exactly why Lawmaster says let's get the things done so we can move on to other deliverables. But LoreKeeper says it's either mid-February, if not late. But he's pretty confident he can get it out mid-February. But the exact date again won't come until after the demo launch, probably later in January. There's currently 3 depths. Does the end of each depth have a boss? 2 and 3, yes. 1, no. How come out of all the puzzle and everything, the priest is the only one without flavor text? It's probably a bug or an oversight. Everyone should have one. Let me hang Bookworm. Bookworm is back tomorrow from his holidays in the US. Let's see if he's ready to answer this. Alright. Can dudes reproduce? If so, can they do it asexually? Dragon confirms that dudes have kids. Dragoon, yes. Probably illegitimate, since he's introduced with the kids by himself. Or maybe the mama do that is at home. Well, a lot of people asked this before. It's up to the user's imagination. We never specify this. And there's more to Dragoon's story, but you'll have to wait and see. Is Hakamikasuki? Hakamikasuki? The avatar. Oh, the avatar of the planet, Popo. It's eaten into first. Does he take the form of dude as well? Very curious how God can exist in the planet. Natsu the catfish is also a god. Oh, I'm sure Bookworm. I'm not sure if Bookworm wants me to tell the full story here. I mean, it's up to you guys to read, to continue. But you can tag Bookworm and ask him when he's back tomorrow. You call Armageddon survivors Armageddons. Alright. I'll do the Reno. It's an upgrade to. Hey, where's the. One second, let me upgrade that. Ojiro for you. I just can't seem to find it. Oh, there we go. To the end it did. Alright. No, it doesn't really do anything. It's more a ceremonious role, but hey, it's fun to work your way to ancient, dude. Well, I mean, prehistoric. Alright, Baby Tiger. What devices support for this coming demo? I think that's all Windows. But we do, I mean, not we, but I do want the mobile build out for Season 3 when PvP comes. Fingers crossed. If not, the mobile build will come game launch. How hard is it to clear the boss stage right now? Right now, the average is around almost level 40. If you want to grind all the way up to defeat it, for most people, some people have to go all the way up to 47 to defeat it. They are tips, but I'm not sure if the tips right now work because we are adjusting the difficulty and everything. But right now, in order to defeat it, there's several things I really don't want to spoil. But well, you'll need potions. Lots of potions to defeat it properly at the lower levels if you want to. But how do you balance getting those potions versus the leveling and stage selection? Well, it's definite to crack. All right. Hello, LoreKeeper from SimTip. Your family are doing well, thank you. They are doing great. It's just very, very tiring. Is the PvP going to be against random dudes, or will we be able to send challenges to random dudes? For the season 3, most likely random dudes only. But in the official thing, we'll work the ability to challenge friends and people directly, of course. And it was still a debatable thing, actually. Sending direct challenges to direct people, well, maybe a tough one. Friendsless is okay, but not non-friendsless. Probably a joke for me. Two cannibals are eating a clown, one says to the other. Does this taste funny to you? Furry dark jokes and dips. Love the demo so far. Can't wait to meet the boss. Keep up the amazing work. Thanks for spending time with us today. Oh, such a well-mannered person deserves an upgrade or the OG role. Oh, to ancient dude, Simdip. When will the in real life boot cushion be released? Actually, the OG rules does get you something, like extra marble chances and bigger marble rewards. 1 second, let's see some people randomly frantically messaging me on WhatsApp. Hope it's not you guys. No, it's just bookworm. Alright, Apogee, when will the in real life boot cushion be released? Will the boot cushion be available as well? Yesterday, the cushion is already in town. But the cushions and the boot plushie won't be obtained as easily, actually. It will not be airdropped. It will only be obtained via very special events or in real life events going forward. So expect it to be a lot more rarer than the plushie. I actually really regret dropping the plushies because it's not being treated with respect. And also the way people treat the boot cushioned by throwing them out on OpenSea is very saddening to me. But then again, hey, I'm a big fan of plushies and cushions. So some people just are not really into cushions and plushies. So can't blame them. But yeah, I'm very protective of them. So don't expecting to see them easily around. Um, yeah, if you want to learn to how to get your hands on them, you have to stay tuned to the events, I guess. And then, yeah, well, I think maybe stay tuned to the Funi Emblem Exchange. That would be a good place to look into it. And the Duty Quest rewards. All right. Drankos. Notice that when you crossbreed planets with different classes, skills from free due to indicating that it's a neutral skill that is still not released. Is that benefit or downside in breeding a wisdom and a fury of the same planet type? Well, you get a neutral skill. The neutral skill, well, if the people didn't put it out, I'll put it out in the general chat afterwards, or maybe I'll just let me see. Did someone put it in the AMA? No, in the general chat. We'll take a quick look. No, okay, I'll just put it out. 1 second, hold on. I'll just go down to the duck channel and grab it. Is it duck or wrangler? Maybe wrangler. No, this should be in duck. 1 second, scroll up. Through all the chit chats. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm throwing this in the AMA questions channel. Take a look at the bottom. All right. So these are the neutral skills that I just posted. Feel free to take a look at them. When the card is not created, once it's created, we'll find a way to work it into the contract, but not an easy operation, so it won't be happening too soon. Is it less desirable? Yeah, in a way it is less desirable from a very functionality perspective. But, I mean, we're not trying to make things too easy for the breeding. But right now, as of right now, breeding planets is more important than trying to fine tune. We're not trying to let you guys do a lot of fine tuning with so little planets out there. With time, with more people, hopefully you guys will see it the way I do when new players join and play and buy. They don't really look into all this. It's more important to get your hands on more planets so you can breed even more further down the line. And then trying to find new ones, but down the line is even more important because there are mutations and everything. And there's still a 10% chance for even the worst planets to breed off and get something different and nice. But of course, the same goes for the better planets who try to breed but end up with lesser skill. So yeah, all have fun, enjoy, and don't get too raged about it. Theories of mobility skills. That does because they are theories. That's, mobility is very important for the close melee range. Apostle Collector rewards. I hope you guys have been reading the Medium articles. Because again, I've been saying February and for it to begin in March for the full Apostle and even the minting of the Apostles. So please help spread the word. I don't know why I'm answering the same two dates over and over. Please read the Medium, maybe, or I'll definitely smack it into the roadmap updates and what is up around. Number 3 is Inferno still your favorite element? Yes. Why not? What's changed? Yeah, yeah. Oh, what's the best thing about the demo versus in real life? You can beat the boss. Well, that's a pretty good joke. All right. Jingles is not on El to the Reno. Surprising. It's got him in El to the Reno. Boss. Well, it's been a while, boss. About the apostle merging, can we merge all apostles into one? I don't think you can merge different classes, but let me double check with LoreKeeper right now. Also, have you heard the new restaurant called Mama? There's no menu. You get what you deserve. Pretty good, pretty good. I'm glad you guys still all remember to put some jokes in these AMA questions. It's deserving of some Ojiro upgrade. Alright, Ether BTC. Hey, Franco. Fulfill is gone and your health again. Yes, I am. I'm trying to lose weight for the upcoming company opening, but I think I just gained everything back over this weekend. I don't know. I kept eating and eating. It's sad. I'll have to abstain from eating over Monday and Tuesday to catch up. The light and the darkness have been clashing for thousands of years. What is the use for the lights and darkness medallion? Will we be able to use it in those games, or will we be getting some sort of upgrade? Well, one of the Doodle Masters is helping me on this one. You guys will be happy to see that for those, especially for those who have been collecting each season, you'll finally see this, what's it for and what's going to come. The Doodle Quest shop, NFT items and collectibles each season is not just for show. There's some offer for you. It would be a good idea to get your hands on them if you want to get the secret reward. That will be shown very, very soon as things piece together. That's it. No more tips. Despite the bear market, how were you able to overcome the challenges you faced in 2022? Price fluctuation, planets, and other NFT everyone has. Well, not really, just doing what we plan to do in the roadmap, trying to get the game out, trying to control the prices. I mean, you look at the prices, it didn't really drop. I mean, even with all the breeding and everything, was still the floor and the prices are still pretty solid because we didn't um, massively distribute the mini black holes. Actually, we tried, but yeah, well, that crazy incident happened, and so we're still here. But I think, to be honest, even if we managed to lower it, the planned prices are still right around there. But it will be very interesting to see what's going to happen in the coming demo as we show more road cases and people get their hands on the planets more. Let's see. I don't think there's any real way to really handle the challenges. It depends on what and what stage we're at. But I think it's always good to focus back on the core utility of the game, which is to make it super fun and awesome. And 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 I guess working with the community to see how we can better ourselves and the communications, so to speak. Not saying we've been doing the best of jobs, but I think we'll improve. We'll definitely improve. It's mobile application. And lastly, education. It's very important to educate the users on Apron and our goals. We're not a PFP NFT project. We're not a flippy NFT. I mean, I'm not here to flip NFTs to 20x or 30x in a short frame of time. I really don't plan to do that. So yeah, it will take a lot more education for people to understand that we're in for the long run and we want our holders to be in for the long run should they want to make a profit. I'm pretty much going to guarantee they're going to make a profit in the long run should they make use of the entire breeding system, keep their planets, and create a massive planet farm. But yeah, well, the economic environments and economic situations of various people are very different, and it's always more attractive to sell new planets immediately instead of gathering them to build a bigger farm. But for me, I will build the biggest farm and then start selling when the prices and everything go up and the demand turn higher. I think it's a lot more um, logical like that. But yeah, well, every dude has their own stories and finances to handle. Is the mobile application planned for the launch of the game? I say yes, but again, let's wait for the demo to pass and have the Lawmaster and LoreKeeper look into it. There's a big meeting coming right afterwards to determine many things. I'll definitely write a big update on that one as you guys play the demo. But that is the plan right now, yes. Do you plan to have one server only or multiple servers for the game? We'll likely have multiple servers around the world to handle cross-continent, to handle local connections. We are monitoring our server structure much like how Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, I mean Supercell is doing it. So yes. Thank you, Ether BTC. Goat. Goat. Happy New Year to you too. It seems that there are not any news for Star right now. When can we start aging our planets and when can we rent out the star? So right now the self-orbital should happen in February, mid to late February. The rental should happen in March if the timeline is right. But the big thing in LoreKeeper's mind is that LoreKeeper really wants to launch the tokens with the Star Orbit rental, but mostly me think it's better just to launch with ETH or USDC as rental in the beginning. I really want to launch tokens together with the game when more utility comes. Yeah. All seems delayed. Is there any benefit for early start buyers since there's no use for the start right now, or we have to wait until TGE? I'd say you have to wait and see, but yeah, you just have to wait and see. There should be more updates coming in late January. What's Apron's marketing plan? When will Apron start fully advertising to the public? To fully advertise to the public and have to define the definition of public, I think we'll go more heavily on Web3, cross-style and communities, and phase one and season one of the demo. In season two, it will still be more enclosed towards the Web3 crowds as we draw more people from the core gaming community. The size of the gaming community in Web3 right now is 15,000, probably around this number. Real organic users. It's actually very small. This number is confirmed with various gaming guilds and projects and data. Yeah, that's actually a little, very, very little people, and this number shows to be dwindling as well. But we'll try to focus more on getting these users at first, and also more brain power from core communities in the space. And for this phase three is when we will approach more KOLs and venues and channels, which we have from Twitch and from the esports side of things. But that's only when we have the PvP, because you need to have the PvP dungeon experience to generate enough noise to get the Web2 gamers, so to speak. Without a full game, without something full, or with the launch more, it would be impossible and a waste of resources to get their attention now. That's what we believe. What device can play PC mobile? PC in the demo, mobile hopefully season 3 or upon game launch. Hello, LoreKeeper. Will there be a co-op mode? Co-op mode will be really further down the line, but there is a co-op mode further down the line, probably in the third or fourth expansion pack. This would be 2025. Maybe a little earlier, if possible. 2025, actually, yeah, if I count correctly. Will there be a boss raid? Yes, this one you don't have to wait that long. The boss should come at the end of this year. Boss raid should come even if we don't release the full launch, I believe. Alright, hardworking B. Should I do it? Hello, Frank. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, B. Can you please tell us more about how we can earn in the game? How do we begin playing the game? Is it necessary to connect our wallets for this game? If so, which wallet do you prefer? Probably MetaMask. To earn, you'll be fighting in the leaderboards. In the season 3, you'll see the PvP, the matching system, the ladder. It will be highly similar upon launch. And then you just have to fight in the tiers, go up the tiers. The higher the tiers you are in, the higher the win rewards per match. You have a set amount of earnable wins each month, I believe. And the higher tier you are, the better the rewards each time. And at the end of each month, your ranking will determine an allocation of our tokens. So yeah, it's a very win-to-earn element there. Marketing is a central element for every project, so that everyone knows the potential of that project and remind what's its strategy to attract users and investors project and keep them long term. There's been suggestions from the council and the ranklers that we do a more open review of the marketing plans to come. We actually are planning a bigger marketing event right now in the overseas and the marketing team. But I think the details will be yet to be confirmed. We'll definitely post this out. I think in the alpha spec ops, so that we can discuss with our whole call holders, our daddies, our ranklers, to let them know what the marketing plans are and see if they like it. But again, the general strategy is still more an introduction and initial acquisition on a slower basis with phase one. We'll work together with other game projects of a larger size to do it, but we'll do it ourselves in phase two, and phase three is really when we go for the bigger crowds. Most investors focus on the value of the token in the short term rather than the actual value of the project. Can you tell us the inspiration and benefits for investors to make high quality tokens in the long run? I think I'm not at the position to say this. I mean, my tokens are not out, and I well, we have our own aspirations on how to do it, but I don't think we have the formula or we have the qualifications to say this. But I can say what we plan to do. I'm sure it will be successful, and there's a huge amount of pivot that needs to be done. But in order for the well, it's not called high quality tokens if it's well from a security perspective. I think it, it's just continuing to try to work on the contracts and offer bug bounties on bigger platforms for the contract itself. As for the price itself and the utility itself, it just comes from continuous education to the call holders and try to find call holders who are buying not to flip and not to invest like an investor, but to really try to use the tokens to educate them. The tokens themselves are used to enhance the value of NFTs and to create and produce more NFTs, and that's how people earn. And it's important that they understand the value of the NFTs in the game so they can better um, sell themselves to other people or to the gamers out there, the other people out there, or to really further better the NFTs for their own use. And this is ultimately how the the tokens and not just the tokens, but the entire ecosystem rises. That on the development side, we continue to create new content. We're going to do new parallel products such as merchandise, animations and movies and games that are NFTs that tie back into this ecosystem and expand, while the holders themselves learned and add value to this whole process. Yeah. But will this work? Or how exactly does it all work tied together? I think it really comes down to the actual moment of the launch and the reception of the market and how we handle the the education and the marketing. What are the main features of the product that makes it easier for users to see the difference in the way it works, and what novel features are better than other projects? You see users see the difference in the way it works. A bit hard to understand. Let me try to read it one more time. What are the main features of the product that make it easier for users to see a difference in the way it works? So better than other projects. Well, to be honest, a bit of everything in Apron is different, and they are very different. I highly doubt there's actually any game out there that's in any way similar to us. I think maybe this game and that game is similar to us in a certain facet because we are such a cross hybrid, multi hybrid genre. One second. Sorry. So I heard my baby crying. But there really isn't. And every single part of Apron is actually new. Actually, this is the hard part. It's really hard to explain all the differences of Apron because every single aspect of Apron is actually novel. Um, but I'd say if we focus on one, would definitely should be the good and evil elements and the cuteness of the dude butts. That's pretty much it. That's the very unique angles that we're trying to go for. What advantages and competitive factors make you confident to dominate the GameFi market in the near future? Well, I'm not sure if we can dominate the GameFi market, so to speak. That's very challenging. I mean, we definitely want to build a very niche and core crowd, and then quite a noise out there. But to stay afloat, then it would have to be just try to keep ourselves updated with what's the best practice out there. As I've said countless times, our blockchain side and marketing side is not the best. We have to continue to find better partners to work together with and to see what projects are doing out there. That's getting a better reception and pivot and change and adopt. Hopefully, though, we're always on the higher. We're always looking for talent. So we'll try to see if we can recruit any great talent out there to work together in steering our project ahead. But then again, you know me, I always like to try random new stuff. Better or not, we'll continue to try because I don't think there's one winning formula right now, especially in these times. But hopefully, we'll find the right talent. That talent may not be in the form of one individual or one group. I think it's actually in the collective of groups and individuals across different industries and possibly different crypto projects and groups out there. And that's why we need to find them and have them work closer with Apron. Hopefully, the demo and the noise will get us a bigger attention and we can seek these partners out. Of course, if the community themselves rises to these tasks, it will also be great. Community is important for the progress of how many users are currently using your platform. What's the future plan to increase the users? The active users around our platform should be around 100 or so right now. It's not a lot. Of the 100, most of them actually are even the Discord users. Actually, it would be a lot more than 100 if you count the guilds that are starting to be more active in the scene after they saw the demo. There's still several guilds out there that have not bred a single one of their planets. It's staggering. But no names mentioned. And it's just, well, yeah, there's a lot of people who are busy all the time. To increase users, well, we've dabbled on this quite a lot, so I'm not going to repeat. But hopefully, I think I'll host another AMA or a LoreKeeper event next Sunday to talk about the marketing plan in a more detailed fashion. I'll also write that up in the journal so that we can discuss it together. And projects promise long-term plan, big mission, great success in the future, but never release any working product or revenue. What makes your project different from these projects? Well, our game demo is actually coming up, so you can take a look yourselves and see if it can carry on the promises that we've made. And one of the biggest difference for us is that most playable demos and projects out there right now, unplayable betas or demos you see out there are actually, well, I call shells with no game design and actual gameplay. Some of them have, but a lot of them are not polished to the final degree, and their core code base structure are actually visibly seen to be just from the game engine templates themselves. Ours is not. If you look at the old version that I talked about that we were planning to release over the summer, that's the version that we had in the YouTube videos. That's code base is not of final release quality. This code base that you are trying your hands in our demo right now is the final launch version of the code base, and that's why we're actually a lot closer to the end game launch compared to a lot of other people. And we have a battle tested name of game devs, a lot more proportion compared to other gamers. And you will see over the course of the remainder of this month and February that how quickly all these elements, the game rooms, the apostles, all the season 2 elements can come in so much faster than others. But of course, there'll always be bugs and everything, and a lot of these other projects that promise this and that and can't get the game out is because, well, game development does take a long time, and the bug hunting process for game development is just a huge nightmare. I mean, I do plan to game develop games when I was in college. So one of the first class I took in the first semester was Programming 101, and it's just not fun at all. So I pretty much gave up being a game developer after taking that class because debugging and programming is just, oh my god, it's not something like a normal human being is capable of, and it takes a lot to be a game programmer because programming is already a bitch, and game programming is even harder than normal programming than standard programming. So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. I still remember my final exam was on creating a soccer game, like with stick figures and dots. Oh my god, the debugging phase of that was just not fun at all. Oh well. I share my big achievement that we got in 2002. Well, I think it's building this community and getting the funds, over 20 million. So that's a big one. From a development perspective, the decision to turn the demo into the final phase, I think, is a good thing. Yeah, it caused a lot of delays, but it's for the better of the future project. And if we didn't do that, the game launch probably would have been delayed even further. So yes, yeah. I think what's these three are what's most happy I've seen so far. But it's always the community that gets me more genuinely surprised and impressed, is what I'd say about Web3. All right, Christy. I'm simply curious as to when the second batch of Star NFTs will go on sale. When the orbits are out and when all stars are fully orbited, is what my plan is. So definitely around the time of the TGE, I think actually would be a good time. Or post TGE to get some hype going. We'll see. And then have the stars use 30 tokens as an extra utility for the tokens. Somewhere around that. More details to come when we get it decided. Will the PC requirements be changed, or at least somewhat lower levels so that more players play the demo and participate in the esports? Yes. Once everything is in season 2, I think we can work to optimize and work on the graphic settings. This way more people can get on, and also we can build the mobile version out. Out of the card idea. What is my favorite roguelike game and why? Have you played Inscriptions? I heard of Inscriptions. I think my two favorite one is Hades, and the other one would be the Dungeon Maker that I always mentioned. I think I heard about Inscription. I also played the Cult of the Lamb recently. Well, only very slightly. I think I played like 2 hours or something. Why I like them? Hades is too popular. I don't even know how to explain it. But for Dungeon Maker, which really got us the attention and even chose that as the core base of our blockchain operations and puzzle merging and dungeon, is because it's their choice of 3, which you haven't seen right now. But we'll be working that in soon. Our own version. At the end of every stage, you get to select a choice of 3, be it rewards or dungeons or mini rooms that you build. This choice of 3 in every sect is actually incredible. Of course, the core gameplay loop it has to be solid, but some of these mini things that I'm interested in. When you see the rooms being implemented in the season 2 phase, I'll show in the Spec Ops. Excuse me. you will see what it's like. And these rooms, these artifacts, like you see in Hades or roguelike, is how each and every choice you make alters slightly what you do in gameplay. If you ask me, Season 1, this core loop of Aperon is actually the hardest to play because all the artifacts and everything is not in yet. And this is the core raw skill of Aperon that you'll be counting on. This is Season 1. So yes, Season 1 is actually harder and the hardest to play out of all. What about for Season 3 with PvP? It depends on the player. You get across you. But yes, the most important aspect for a roguelike is that the decisions and the combinations that you make will each have a unique gameplay elements. So even some certain combinations that you not think is viable can suddenly become viable by just getting one or two artifacts that change the style of gameplay entirely. And that's the fun process of roguelike. Okay, in your opinion, which roguelike games have most influences on Apro? Okay, well, I just answered that as well. Number 3, deck building is very important in roguelike card games on scale of 1 to 10. I'll put on this deck building Apron when it comes to beating down the dungeon. 10? Oh, that's a common player's battling skills. I think the deck itself is extremely important. That's the core of the entire game of Aperon. It's a deck building game. That's why we always compare ourselves and our entire system to physical gaming cards. But of course, player battling skills comes in the form that, well, if you have a really great deck, then it doesn't require much skill to get to the dungeons, of course. But if you have a really rough deck or generic deck, then yes, you need that. But having great battle skills actually lets you handle any deck. And I'm pretty sure I will showcase what's it like to use the lower decks in the future. Just throw me any planet and I'll clear the dungeon for you. Hey, that's the fun of it. Well, maybe not me, maybe some other dudes. Not saying it, but still, I still hold the best records in the company. Let's see. Actually, the company does try to alter the game so that it's harder for me. I don't know. Hey, but let me tell you, there are whales out there who pays and still know how to play the game. So yes, it's unfair. But yes, there are good players around the world. Okay. Number 4, without the card game simulation, we can't perform Armageddon. No, not true. Not true. We actually can perform Armageddon without the card game simulation. We can still build levels, we can still build items into the battle side of things. We can still do that, actually. Of course, it's not as fun, and there'll be other stuff that we can't do. But we can implement Armageddon without simulation. You have to fight the dungeons, you have to fight in the roguelikes. But of course, the difference is if you die in the dungeons, you start retaining your levels and then you actually reset, or you actually have to lose all your progress. So it's better to reset physically and manually the dungeons and to reset like that and mint the apostles out. But how far can you go before you mint? Should you go that for that one extra stage? Should you risk it all or should you play it safe? Is the choice of the roguelike. Roguelike, the dungeons and PvP in itself is actually an entire full game in itself. The card game simulation added into it will give it a lot more flavor and depth and also a lot of other side. But for the battle side of the equation, it's a full gameplay experience in itself. You'll see that in Season 2. What is the plan for doing the TGE? And think come up with a way to avoid bots and speculators and make sure the tokens are in the hands of the real players. Still in discussion, to be honest. But after the gameplay demo, after the talks regarding the tokenomics update and everything, we'll write it out in the white papers. We'll do an AMA. We'll discuss the way with which we're going to do the TGE. We'll discuss uh, how we're going to do the launch. But right now, I think it's important that we find more core partners on the publishing side that can help us with our marketing. Is also one of the bigger things that I think we should focus on. But I think more details of this should be covered after the game demo launch. Back in October, when you guys were saying the full launch on TG will come at the end of 2022, I predict that the PvP wouldn't even be ready till the middle of 2023 at the earliest. Has the minute release of a game development can be very challenging. What lessons would you say you have learned so far? Well, the lesson that I've learned so far is to really not say the date until we have it, and trying to get the build out in the hands of the holders and let them know the process is actually very important. But setting dates is still very important. It's just whether we should publicize these dates and set the wrong expectations. Internally, we'll always need to set dates. I've set dates since 7 years ago, and dates is what get get people to start OTing and everything and working on the game. But to be honest, the final code-based version is tough. So yeah, and as things fall together, you see the prowess of your team, and you can better predict dates going forward. But still, there are always random stuff happening in game development and all tech development, I'd say. And there are random problems that seems easy to solve but unable to solve. Or it seems to have a problem that you already solved, but when a new feature is implemented, the old bugs popping up. It's challenging, and it's hard to promise on the dates until we have the clear vision on the end. But we can't work on this to just tell people to wait indefinitely. I've been told to wait indefinitely quite many times throughout these 7 years. But I always need to work on the dates. But how do we exactly handle this? I think I'll write it out in the journal piece next week, as I said, in Medium, and talk about the process and how setting dates internally and setting dates for the public general and manage the expectations has always been a challenge, I guess, for not just us, but every single game. Well, not even game, every single project out there. And yeah, still learning. But I guess it's just trying to put the information out clearly and early. And I think the biggest lesson is don't rely on saying these things out in AMA or in long medium articles, because some people don't listen to AMAs, and some people don't read stuff that's too long, or some people just don't read in general at all. And it's important to just keep getting that information out somehow to the people. But I think the other thing is that it's also important to what was I going to say? Most important thing would be to control the pricing and the issues out there. So that sometimes when you target the real problems in the community and what people complain versus what's actually there, like for example the floor prices, the demand, the reception, the hype, versus the actual development dates, what would really get people happy, is something that we have to work on and try to adjust at the same time. But the true challenge comes really in manpower and resource handling. Because, to be honest, the strength of our company is actually on game development, storytelling. I mean, marketing, community building, Web3 side is very new to us. And we're still recruiting on that side. the majority of our company are just artists and game developers and programmers. That's why I still believe we have a very strong project. But on the other side, we will need help from maybe more professional community management or people out there who can work on the hype angle and everything. I think that's all, but the problem is, at these phases of development when you're around the launch, it's just there's just so much awesome going on, and working on community and marketing, deviating. Because, for example, do we have our artists keep working on the game content and deliverables, or do we deviate some of it out to create community artwork and marketing artwork, which is both equally important? And at this phase, how should we divert our resources and attention? Is a tough choice everywhere. But I think these markets, even when you do so-called marketing or hype in the blockchain gaming space with a demo, I think still not enough. It's still not nearly enough. It's actually better to get more deliverables, get more content into the game. Instead, would be more important because ultimately, um, it's just the market is just really not that great. Really not that great right now. And so it's better to focus back on and also our strength is on that side either way. So it's more important that we focus on what we are good at during these times. We're not in a hurry to really try to find the right marketer. I mean, it takes time to find the right marketer and the right partner to do so. And what we really expect is that the prices of a lot of these marketers out there will drop. The acquisition costs will drop over 2023, and we are not in a hurry to really get to go out there right now, just before their prices drop. So let the prices adjust themselves. Let recession occur, and then we can go there. As we get to the better cost efficiency is what I'd say. All the while we'll be building the game, and then we'll do more grassroots conversion as we go from one community to another, and work on the viral factor. This is what's more important right now. Currently, the game cannot be played with one hand, like most other card games, because about the complexity of the game controls rated. This will be a huge barrier for user adoption. Have you guys thought about making the game playable with just the mouse? Single click, move the loader dash. This is actually implementable right now. Not implementable. This is already in. If you play the game, you can actually left click to move and double click to dash. Have you ever tried actually? But but for the mobile builds, you definitely need two hands though. I think for our genre and the way we play, it's possible to play with one hand, but because tap is move, double tap is dash, and but on the extreme side, I mean on the esports side, you have to use both hands, man. But yes, please try and do this yourself in the demo. It's actually already in because I remember because I'm the one who suggested that and implemented that with low script law. Okay. Number 8. Can you walk me through the gameplay loop of a new player? For example, they start buying a planet, grind a dungeon for puzzles, then play PvP. Then they go back to the dungeon and grind levels of deck building, then back to PvP. Well, I think you just completed the loop yourself. Hard. I think it would start from well, dependent if they want to from a planet owner or free to play perspective. But still, they can play the game first. Either via the Battle Pass, but in the future they can download the game from iOS or Google Play. They can play the dungeon, the demo version, not the demo, sorry, a tutorial, which is similar to what we have in the demo. And then they can grind through, they can play through, but then they will be gated once they reach a certain progress, once they complete the demo, they can still continue to play, but they won't be able to earn, they won't be able to progress too much. They need NFTs, or they need to rent, or they need to join a gaming guild, so to speak, before they progress. And so the standard call loop is to in the battle phase is to grind the dungeon for apostles, then continue to level up and play and evolve along the skill tree. They need to reach a certain level and get 4 apostles that are comfortable. Get to a certain level before they join the PvP. There are 2 sides. There's also the esports sides where you only need the planet and 4 apostle relics, and then you can join PvP. For the esports side. But for the PvE dungeon side, it's just grinding in the dungeons, trying to go all the way to the highest level you can, and then reset or die, and you get reset. That's the call of a roguelike. Probably try to get as high as you can, and then Armageddon turn the apostles into relics and use those apostles and join the PvP and try to earn from there. And deck building at the same time. Yes. As always, well, enjoy your questions out of the card. And yes, please give suggestions as you always do. I think the last suggestions you gave I discussed with the team, and we'll almost be reviewing and implementing a lot of them. So yes, thank you. Cupcake. Happy first Sunday of the year, Frank. Happy first Sunday of the year to Cupcake. Is there any other special event planned for Chinese New Year besides the demo game? Yeah. Chinese New Year is the time to give red packets, so that's USDC, and also to do a little Chinese New Year game. I'll work with the Chinese community to see if we can do something dirty. But then again, I think with this Chinese New Year, we'll keep it simple because we do want to do a lot of the server revamps over this time, just before the playable game launches. We want to restructure the entire community so that we focus more on the game itself instead of all these other stuff that we typically do around town now. It's an important move. So how does mini esports tournaments look like? Is it a group or individual competition? The mini esports tournaments will always be individual, but the cross-DAO ones are groups. The group ones will submit as a DAO their fastest times, probably across Eperon and the other games that we are collaborating with. But in the future, it will just be pure Eperon. The DAOs will support probably their best 3 times from the top 3 players, and then we'll see which DAO has the best average, and then have them do a live run at the end of the tournament. So it's sort of like how the Light and Darkness show went on, where we had the Light Champion and the Darkness Champion streaming and playing at the same time with a commentator on the side, to see who goes deeper into the dungeons at the fastest time. Will the Origin Apostle Rebel begin in February? Yes. Will be eligible. Is to get, I think the first tier is around 8 apostles. So if you're 8 unique different Origins apostles, you'll be in for the Planet Rebels. 10 you get into the, if I may be correct because I'm just speaking from the top of my memory, which may be wrong. And then you get the set, it's all written out there, the apostles, and the list that we had a long time ago to put us in the star raffle. The details will be out in February as the demo progresses, so we can get more people known and in, hopefully. And then the 12th apostle is there's the action figure, there's the Baron NFT, which grants you some unique functions, and I'm still working with them to create the possibility of a collectible apostle that could be used, mostly for collection purposes, on the planet side. And yeah, so just collect different apostles. I think one of the main reasons that the Lore Scripper and Loremaster never really want to implement too many functions for the 12 Apostle reward is because the apostles were all free airdrops. They were all free mints, so to speak. So they were reluctant to give huge utility to it back then. But still, I'm always a fan of the Sender collection side. So yeah, that is always me trying to fight for more over there. But you have to understand that from them, from a development perspective, there's a lot more risks to involve if we involve too much game balancing issues. Game balancing effects into these apostles. Yeah, but still, the apostles themselves have higher battle power, like from a lower dungeon, so that should be quite useful. Yo, hi Frank, good to hear your voice again. Oh, wow, thank you. I'm raising this question from a standpoint of a newbie who wants to learn a lot. Okay. And approach a very impressive project. Can you please enumerate with slight elaboration all of the considered factors prior to game launch? Holy crap. 红包拿来, okay. That is considered factors prior to the game launch. Okay, well, I think one of the most important factors is to first decide the TG and which chain we actually get on and which publishing partner we go with. Do we go for the self-publishing model in these times? It would be dangerous. We will definitely need the help of one or even a couple more very strong alpha groups or marketers in here to help us market it and push it together. But I think the true and the best marketer or support out there is not hired. It's not a third party, but we should hire them or at least work very close with, not as just a consultant, so to speak, like many other alpha groups do, but to actually have a very deep integrated connection and marketing prowess. One where they actually invest in us. It's actually how how the way Zombie Club had invested in us and worked together with us. But still, even with Zombie Club, I mean, the manpower and amount of stuff that each of us can do is still very limited, as each group is busy with how they survive and how they properly work. It's it's um it's not easy, but we will definitely be considering to work with some stronger partners in the Web3 space to build a hype for us because we need help on that one. The other one is to look at the planet numbers. I think it's important that we get more planets out there and we get more users into the game. Hopefully, with the demo, we can try to reach out to more groups out there to get the word out there more. We'll also approach some of the bigger KOLs to see, and maybe more selective KOLs like Bryson and Falcon into the fold. We're talking with them right now. So yes, we'll likely see them, and we'll try to do something unique and different to get the word out. Focus less on the earning side of things and try to get more people to actually want to play the game or see the game system or can contribute to pivoting the ecosystem so that we can handle stuff better. And then we would want to most definitely to figure out the way of the TGE, CEX or DEX, how to handle the bots, whether we implement taxes or do we implement a user level restriction with that controls how much tokens they can sell, and how are these methods working. I think more information would come in around February after we confirm the basic tokenomic change with all our partners regarding the longer vesting period and the market making sell side things. That answers that question, but will be great next time if you can give a few more specific examples of facts that you want to look for because there are always just so many factors. Little Blue. First of all, we'd like to know why did you and the team choose Tempest Wisdom for the playable in the first time? Any special reason? The Tempest is the very first avatar we drew, actually. If you look at the website, our first version, there's a giant robot-like avatar. It's actually the adult light light version of the Tempest. If you look into the demos and the videos, it's all the Tempest actually. I think, and of course the Tempest itself is tied with the roots of our art director, the Holy Trio. They are past work in holy crap, I forgot the name of the game that they always been working on. Is this called brain fog from COVID, or I just have a bad memory? 1 second, so I find it. Oh, I absolutely forgot it, and then I look through my own diary just see if I can find it. There we go. Right now, I didn't even write it out. Oh well, you just have to first search Felix Chu. He worked on a pretty cool game before. He's always a big fan of sci-fi, and so yeah. They they had a love for robots and sci-fi stuff. So yeah, that's the Tempest, and it's rooted in one of their early projects. Reward of battle time will be increased along with the time you play the game based on the quantity of account wallet. The reward of the battle demo should be increased with the skill and leaderboard times, not by grindable stuff based on quantity. So yes, but with practice and skill comes the need for more game time. It should be following this logic, not by purely collecting more lunar and solar passes or more planets. But that's what games are. Practice makes perfect, and practice to compete on the leaderboards and do better by spending your time to study the game is how you get to the top, and on the top are the rewards. Do the boot cushion ready to be redeemed at the moment? No, not yet. The cushion actually is available right now, but we haven't set any. You should stay tuned to the Funny Emblem Exchange coming up. The boot cushion is expected to arrive within 2 months' time, I assume. Shouldn't be long because we already have the sample. We're already paid. The order should be shipping in 1 to 2 months' time, from what I learned. Here are my questions. Cannot learn water skills without water element points. Yes. I assume you're asking Oak Tree that your planet does not have water elements. Can you learn water skills? Yes, but most likely at extra costs. What level of skill? What I mean is, if you are a purifier planet and you want to learn other element skills, the talent points that you spend may be higher than normal. But the full version of the talent tree, I think, is coming up after the demo as well, and we'll discuss more how this full talent tree works. So stay tuned. What level of skill can 50% of all the heroes learn? Can you learn C6 skills? Yes, you should be able to learn if you spend the talent points in the right way. They shoot for the C6 ones, but you should wait for February when they have that, because right now there's a version 1 out there, and they're not very happy with it. Once they confirm the level 2 and the dates for showing, I can show this version 1 and tell you guys what to expect. And the version 2 that will be coming up. I'll just show you the version 2, which I think they're more comfortable with. but expect something to be a merge of Path of Exile and Final Fantasy X. Make a Scott, good evening. When will the scholarship of the plans be implemented? Upon game launch? So you can immediately rent out in a pool. So you will have to stake your planets in the scholarship pool, and then the scholars can access it. Or you can directly assign scholars. I think that's how it's going to work. But I think we are going for some white label solution, and you'll be using some NFT rental platform tools out there. Have to ask LoreKeeper which ones we are eyeing right now, but we're most likely just going to go for the most popular NFT rental solutions out there in the beginning. We'll build our own, of course, eventually, but I think we'll just use the most popular one out there right now. If you guys have a recommendation or think you guys know which ones are the best, feel free to let us know which NFT rental solutions you guys think is working great, and then we'll work with them right off the bat, so it's easier. Will there be a web design of pool of unrented plant for players can rent users and play easily? It'll be much easier. Yes, that's the plan, ultimately. June, good evening. I just want to ask if there will be a recording for this AMA. I think Kin usually always record us, and we usually update the recordings of our AMAs in the AMA archives that can be found in the official links. Not sure if we've been keeping up with the updates. If not, I'll probably have to find a sniper to talk to him to get the recordings and put everything back on the AMA archives page. So yes, everything we've been talking about has been recorded, actually. Ever, I hope. It's quite a long list. But I think there are times that sometimes we do some AMAs without announcing it in other channels. Probably sometimes in the smaller ones or in the other language ones that we didn't get on us. Or when we do a gated interview, like for example with the ones with surgeons and Gojira, those may not be available. I have to ask Yulon for those ones. Q, good evening, friend. Will holders still need to battle pass for the demo? Yes. Well, but not really. We airdrop the game time directly. Just to clarify, the battle pass is not an NFT. It's a figure of speech, actually, that we've been always saying. So the lunar and solar NFT grants the battle pass, which is actually our website, our webpage, the battle pass page. So you access that page, and then you burn the solar and lunar fragments, and it will add game time to the battle pass page into your marketplace account. And for planet holders, we will airdrop that the game time and open that up for you guys one day before the demo, so on the 26th. Will we have a doodle boot beanbag work? The beanbag, oh yeah, no. I haven't put this in the pipeline. It's in the design catalog. But I think we can try and make I'm gonna do maybe a special vote or a mint on the catalog in the future to see which ones we should make first. I think that would be pretty interesting. But I think the artist needs to confirm the catalog. I've sent some of that out before, but those were concepts and suggestions. They were not finalized. Okay, as Thursday, good evening. Let's start with that joke. What did English tell Meth when he was being difficult? Group up and solve your problems. It's alright. It's alright. We're already a prehistoric. Okay. Will we be able to see tiny dudes? The ones in the following the puzzle in the upcoming demo? No, I think the tiny dudes comes when when your avatar reaches more maturity. So in the baby stage, it's just the apostles and the avatar. When you grow larger and evolve and level up, when you grow larger, when you evolve your planet, that's when the little dudes come in, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. I've read that Apostle Fusion is coming season 2, but this means that apostles will obtain will have randomized cards, skill cards. That's the plan. Heroes can unlock C6 skills and above. To what C tier can quads unlock? I'm sure. Well, some quads come with the C6 skills, so yeah, you can go start from there and go higher. But if we assume that they all start from the original, from the base encampment, then it also depends on how you start and play. I think there is a certain high level skill that they can obtain for normal if you go straight for that one. But I have to confirm after they launched. Again, probably safer to wait until we have that new version 2 of the skill map out, which again is something big that we have to confirm upon. But this will be upon one of the first things we confirm. So don't worry. No, the elemental distribution actually works for the skills as well as the perks. It's possible to use a controller to play the game. Well, so unless it's a dual controller, but I don't think we'll be supporting that anytime soon because we'll definitely want to support the mobile version first. I'm actually not a big fan of controllers. I've always enjoyed using a mouse and keyboard. Well, actually, but for certain game types, controller is still good, like action games, Zelda. But I don't think so. Not soon. Maybe in the future, after game launch, to implement that. Okay, so I want to know about your plan for community after the game launch. Which direction should everyone community head to? The general community will be focusing back on the game itself. Events surrounding playing the game itself, sharing game knowledge, game guides. Primeval will have a bit more unique, more mini alpha group to decide on the more fundamental direction of what we should do with the game, giving more detailed feedback, getting drunk, playing marbles. Also, can still do game nights and other games occasionally in the primevals, but under lesser frequency, I guess. And a lot of the attention will be focused more into the game itself. Unlike what you see right now in the space in the community right now, where we do a lot of different random stuff. I think it's still fun once in a while, but we will do it in a lot more casual capacity with less rewards but more fun. And then the reward process, maybe less rewards, more entitlement, title rewards and role rewards. Definitely, we'll try to make it so that your life is easier. In terms of the need to monitor and everything, the fairness and everything, I think should help once we lay the rules more clearly or integrate more of these rewards to the marketplace accounts over there. And then we'll limit the more side events to the primevals, and the primevals will probably just be more marbles or stuff that's easier to handle, I guess. Except for the drunk parties that I throw. Yeah. Drinking parties, I mean, not necessarily drunk. What is the plan for Primeval Planet Holder after token airdrop would be benefit reduced to be the same as non-reveal Planet Holder? I think the Primeval Planet Holders will always have not just the token airdrops. I mean, the token airdrops will still take place over a long time. I don't think we'll just drop everything down. I think each time we're doing a token airdrop, we'll be partnered with a certain utility that's opening up. And then there's also the other in-game NFT item airdrops, the pre-release access, the unique events, the multiplier events of the primeval planets afterwards. And we do want to do the alpha group thing, so we will continue to find quality projects and alpha groups to do more, not just rice maker stuff. I'm talking about actual utility in other projects to be available for our Primevals, the higher staking rewards, the ability to enter certain special dungeons that we hold in the future to get special rewards will always be something the power of the Primevals have. And I think token airdrop is probably one of the least attractive thing for me for the Primeval. And I would definitely not want to promote the token airdrop as the ultimate Uber gift of a Primeval holder. It should be the utility that our special community, our daddies have been bringing all along to support that, and the community is what I foresee for the to empower the Primevals to hold the ability to create daddy merchandise, to join the daddies, to earn together from the daddy merch shop and the NFTs that created by the daddies to have actual utilities um, in the game or in the real world that hold in the real life events and parties, for example, should shine through, not just the token airdrop. Number 3, how long is the hatching period for generation 5 and 6 planet? It should be the same. The only difference that affects the hatching period is if they actually had some inbreeding with their uncles and aunties. Meaning that if they, because we allow the free infinite breeds, so some planets can breed with their uncles and aunties in the family tree, but there will be a penalty of extra time if they do breed with their uncles and aunties from the same family tree. And that's a flat fee of, I think, extra 2 weeks in hatching time, or extra 1 week. Forgot. Mango, possible. When game available for mobiles, either season 3 or the game launch. So that's either April or June. And these dates are right now, hopefully, well, actually, I shouldn't really make any promises, but these are humble estimates. So hopefully, it could be faster. But again, fingers crossed, and no promise on this. So, yes, lesson learned, as I said. But yes, season 3 or game launch. Will there be some changes to the complexity to make it a little bit easier, especially the skills? Probably not. There'll be easier descriptions right now. I think the short version is not implemented. There's a short and easy to read version as you do it in the battle. But on the battle side, the battle has always been a bit more complex. But the short version is actually easier to understand and use. And we're already trying to improve on the targeting UI. But yes, actually, we were a bit in a bit of a discussion whether we should make the demo so tough. But to be honest, well, we do intend for the late game dungeon driven to be very tough. We don't intend for the entire game to be this tough at the beginning. But again, please look into the roguelike season 2. Things will be easier over there. But you can really experience what tough is. But actually, maybe not. We'll be adjusting the difficulty very soon because the boss right now is just so fucking tough. I think I'll save a version of this up so you guys can actually play this version in the future to see how hard it actually was back then. But I think tough games have their love. I think like Dark Souls and everything. We have Dark Souls designers here, and they can't even finish the game. So that speaks a lot. But then, yeah, well, it's a demo. We shouldn't be so sadistic about it. So yes, we're making it a lot easier now. I think the skill comes in the form that it doesn't matter. No, I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. It's the complexity of a game comes in the form of how hard and how well you actually can defeat and play the game and defeat the bosses. If you can do that, then no matter how tough or how complex the descriptions may be, the players are still willing to learn. what's the saying is that it's easy to learn but hard to master is what the essence of all action games or actually competitive games should be. Um, but we start off complex with all these descriptions and everything because we want to build a complex enough system that have multiple layers as players learn and as players master it. So we wouldn't we'll try to make the description simpler. There's a super short version that will be replaced and used in the in-game battle one. But on the planet side, when they have time to sit and look at it, the descriptions will be long and complex and detailed to make sure the players understand it and have the time to read and strategize on them. Will there also be a gameplay where I can see the other players in the game, like a group boss raid, where I can see the other dudes? I don't know how to explain, but it's like a typical MMORPG where I can feel that they're playing with me. The first world boss version should not have that in. It's a group of planets that you send to battle together, maybe in the ready stage or in the preparation stage. But ultimately, in the actual battle itself, is still your avatar. The co-op mode will not come soon. So, no, salutations, right? Want to ask one question about breeding. Player A has C1, C2, C3, C2, C3, C4. What would you breed them? What is the mechanism of how the offspring is decided? Will the six skills be put into the same pool and then three of them will be randomly selected? Well, actually, it depends on their grandparents as well. Not just the parents will affect the skill pool. But assuming the parents are the primeval, so there's no grandparents, then they will be placed in the pool and three will be randomly selected. But then there's a 10% chance of mutation, where an entirely different skill from these parents or grandparents may pop up. Actually, Ulf recently asked this because he recently got a mutation. I think one is the way to go, not two. I think the exact formula, you better tag LoreKeeper than ask him instead of me, because this one is more technical. But to my understanding, it's one. And one with your grandparents in it. But the chances, of course, of the parents is higher than that of grandparents. Probably best to tag LoreKeeper on this one. Okay, maybe start with the hotkeys. There's follow-up questions. No, I don't think we'll be doing hotkeys because well, not anytime soon because the game is supposed to be designed on a mobile UI UX. So going to do hotkeys and selecting hotkeys and doing UI for hotkeys may not be good unless we decide to on hold the mobile version and only do a PC version, which I don't think is anything anyone wants. Okay, not me. With the demo seasons, the game progress will be propagated from season 1 to season 2, or everything will be restarted at the start of the season. There's really nothing much to propagate if you look at the demo. It's a short roguelike dungeon. It's not even roguelike, it's a short dungeon in the season 1, so just play through and reset. Nothing much can carry over unless you say but you can assume everything will be reset because season 2 have all the roguelike elements in it. So the entire gameplay experience is actually very different. In season 1, you were experiencing the core game loop, the core game play mechanisms. The apostles doesn't really matter in season 1. If you have played the demo, all the apostles in season 1 is the same, except for the levels. But those are not really that hard to. There's no point to grind super long levels. in season one, and we don't encourage that actually. Hey, Tuan, we'll see you in a while, Tuan. You're doing well. Yeah. Shares are still increasing. Will you come to Vietnam in the future and hold some event like you did in Thailand? Yes. Yes. I'll try to work my way to Vietnam this year. But I need to find a bigger event to go. Otherwise, it would just be getting drunk for you guys. But I really enjoyed the exhibition and Thai event. So maybe we'll look into any crypto gaming expos in Vietnam further down the line. Let's see if we can go there. If not, then it will just be a casual visit. But Frank, you have said that we'll be able to join forces with fellow dudes to play. Can you give me an example of when and how you foresee us playing together? In the clan wars that I think will be opening up after the um the zodiac opens up. That's when you stick your stars together to form the alliances. You'll be fighting in teams. So you'll form an alliance with a group of dudes. You'll be able to participate in events and earn rewards as a group to be shared with your guild and alliance. And then you can enter the guild, the Zodiac Wars, where the Zodiacs fight against each other, sort of like in Clash of Clans, where the top players will be selected to join, and they will battle it out with each other. The top players amongst each other's guilds. The ones that are not selected can do supportive roles and help by giving boosts to the ones participating or giving a skill attack the other guys on the other side. But this will be the initial way. And then you can also do the group boss raid, the raid boss thing. But of course, it's just selecting and going together in teams. Maybe you'll form up with different planet types to join. Maybe you'll have the segregated groups of raid groups amongst your guild, and then and formed in the form of the solar. It's probably formed around the solar systems, the ones that orbit around specific stars, and the star owner themselves will control which boss to attack. But then more details should come up closer to the world boss release. But that will be probably have to be around the end of the year for more information and more detailed stuff comes out over that. Clan Wars will be a little out early though, so expect it to be around shortly after the game launch. So maybe in Q3. Will we get a bonus points if we defeat you? Not really. Why would you get bonus points for defeating me? The plushie is super soft and well constructed. Thank you. Posted this in channel, but in case you didn't see it. The gamer goes to hell. After a week, the devil goes to God and says, "What crazy person have you sent to me? Destroyed all cauldrons, killed the demons, and is running everywhere and yelling. It's the exit to level 2. It's a griffin and demo, can't wait to play with friends." Oh, thank you, Bets. Hey, you got me a joke. Can you, Chiro? McVan. 哦，晚上好。关于12使徒奖励可以透露一些吗？有一个 action figure，也不是 action figure，是 collectible 来的。之前其实有收过一次。我看一看进度，然后找一些他们的最新的进度的一些照片给你们看吧。我会放在 d u Leaks。We ask Lore Master for that one. So that's the figure, and then 有这个 这个还有一个叫 Baron NFT，这个是呃一个可以在我们的 staking 系统使用的一个 NFT，是能增加这个 staking 奖励的一个道具，可以放在 Apostle 那里的。还有这个希望呢，我还在跟他们说，我想要一个在将来这个神奴尼那块的游戏的时候，你可以放在你星球有一些特别的呢，都在你的星球会出现的。共用的话会有很大的共用吧，就可能没有了，不过就是一个 collectible value 的一个吧，或一个是特殊的一个skin 来的。我会在3月的时候再多放一些资讯给大家。每个 Double Battle Pass 都有奖励吗？可以接着就从一个这个不可以，不可以。刚刚在上面有说过一下。本来我想的但是最后给这个Law Scribbler 跟 Law Master ban 了，因为始终想将 Battle Pass 交给多不同的人，而不是同一个人身上，所以不会叠加这些奖励。按照现在的进度，游戏正式上线会落在6月左右吗？我想应该 public 的上市应该是，但是试玩版你们可以试的话，应该在Season 3以后就可以试玩了，就应该在4月或5月你们就可以开始试玩的了。但是当然应该会还有很多，那个时候那个 version 就会有很多bug fix 很多这些需要大家帮忙的一些嗯报告要大家一起努力的去找出来。这是否在测试阶段会有手机版本？呃，我想在 Season 3那个4月的PVP 版本有手机，但是如果不可以的话呢，要游戏上线的时候那个版本才可以有。TG 可能会跟 B 岸合作吗？我会在我约了他们农历新年以后谈一次，那时候谈完了再跟大家说一下。但是其实就算会上的话，要看他们怎么 support 我们，但是机会应该不大。现在市场的反应来说，我也怕 BR 了，但嗯CC 太厉害了，这个现在市场对于想必看法是否有好转呢？其实我知道有一些游戏跟一些又不是游戏，有一些游戏平台在搞，我看看他们一直看着他们的做法会不会有一些好转嘛？但是看不到有一些游戏做 B 的上线做的好。其实我想找一些新的方法去做 TGE，但是还在谈。但是这是最要紧的一个元素，就是看我们真的会不会跟这个 Sky m a f e s 合作，然后我们的 Launch 就会去 roll 人上。世纪末日会看到很多火球吗？这么制作，那么我怀的是这个，这个应该不会了，因为始终就是想，不过可能会有一些小的 event，因为要删了蛮多的旧的 role 啊、所以可以要多留意这个新闻。This last bit is will there be extra fireballs in the server or events afterwards? I don't think so, but I said since we're doing a server reset, we'll be clearing a lot of the old roles or the past roles that's been accumulated. So there will be events of the role burning events, so to speak, where we run ravels or marbles or something to burn as we burn all these past roles and everything. And like I said, a lot of the game night didastic rules and everything are supposed meant to be temporary. Actually, they were never meant to be permanent. And again, we're going to migrate to a structure where, for even with the future game nights and everything, we'll try to make it so that the same people can win all the events. So we'll scrap roles, but the roles on top of being a ceremonious to celebrate it will also be the ones that gate people from being able to keep participating in the same events and win the same events all the time, so to speak. So it's giving others a chance and maybe work on like the do the lose structure where you can progress to the masters at the levels, so new dudes can get a chance to win the rewards. I think this is extremely important that we always talk about but never implemented. With this Armageddon thing, we'll reset all events and reward structures so that this gets more reflected. But then again, with the coming game and times, I think more focus will still be placed in events that's related with Acheron, while the other events will still happen, but at a lower frequency and a more casual capacity. 追汉 Griffin，使得这游戏中是否会有很多种形态，衣服不同是对的，是or apostle 那是 origin apostles，他们的衣服就一定会一样的，而且是特别的。但是将来我们也会有一些 apostle mint event，这是3月就有这些 event，就是可以 mint 你们的apostles 我们自己也会送一些特别的宝箱类似的，可以 mint 这些 apostle。这是 apostle 每次出来他们都有不同的衣服的，我们在3月应该会做一些 event，做在这里。他们有不同的形状跟不同的衣服跟武器这样的。有时候你们在队里看到很多不同的 apostle 有不同的衣服，其实都是这个用处。敌人级 boss 是否多样化？会，后期会有玩具玩那个各种当然会有的，会有的。但是先会做多一些不同的敌人跟 boss，然后再做场景，因为场景要配合故事的发展。技能有什么时候会开放？刚刚在上面 share 了一下，希望有人可以翻译一下吧。to Poland，廣東廣東話都得OK。假如在 DX 上幣的話，可以透露一下會怎麼玩嗎？DX 要睇下我哋係同 Ronan 合作啊，定係我哋自己出？如果自己出就會係一啲 pool 啦。咁如果我哋出 pool 嘅話，啲 pool 就會係俾你 stick 即係唔同嘅 stables 啊 ETH 去換我哋嗰啲啦，或者我哋自己嗰啲換自己嗰啲啦，即係 PRS 同埋 Anima 咁樣。咁應該我最希望嘅做法咧，未 confirm 咧就係 stick 呢啲 pool 咧就係攞 game item 嘅。咁呢啲 game item 係咩 game item 咧？就應該係未方便透露住啦。如果 Ronin 嘅話咧，就會用翻 Katana 咁樣搞翻啲 IDO 咁樣嘅嘢咯。跟住再做一啲 pool 係做翻Ronin 嗰個 ETH 啦，因為 Ronin ETH 可以直接喺幣安度買啊嘛。咁就會同佢做個 pool 啦。咁呢個 pool 就睇下要同 Sky Memphis 傾啲咩出嚟啦。未清楚，但係2月會清楚好多。這幾個時段有幾個不同的社區宣傳，最大的痛點是沒有系統性的介紹。係啊，與宣傳視頻，OK，有內容有很多，但是缺少整合，真係可以考慮做一個新版的遊戲介紹視頻嗎？仲有包解説代幣模型中心。會有呢個其實同有幾個我哋中文嘅合作嘅社區同埋 partner 都有傾呢樣嘢，係想做一啲好啲嘅整合。其實我哋個社區嗰個 Armageddon 都想係時候推出呢樣嘢添嘅，一啲簡易嘅文字 infographic 版啦。視頻嘅話就要揾人去整同製作。不過 會呢個係我哋一個好大要做嘅目標嚟嘅，因為係個教育係簡化個教育，但係同一時間呢個係亦都係最難嘅咯，因為本身 God game 呢個 genre 同埋呢啲再加埋區塊鏈要做教育，其實真係要揾多啲 professional 啲嘅人去俾下意見。但係你問我，我都覺得而家最緊要嘅嘢係其實係要為咗唔同嘅類型嘅玩家或者人去做唔同嘅宣傳片，而盡量唔好將所有嘢歸納晒喺一條片度咯。即係應該有啲片係着重 focus 集中落神模擬遊戲嗰塊，或者係就咁好同壞嗰一塊咁樣講。有啲就可以好似你頭先咁講，睇下係宣傳緊俾一啲 gamer 啊，定係一啲 Web3 investor 要做好一啲分別嘅。其實少少話先行版的字體讓我有種有 Word 文檔的感覺，太正式或者說老土。提個建議可以修改成圓潤或者個性一點字體。其實最短嗰個版本係應該會有啲咁樣嘅效果嘅。但係佢哋未將佢落實，佢哋仲將一個長啲嘅版本放咗落去。我哋係整緊一啲得意啲嘅 skill 嘅形容佢一個好短嘅版本，但係嗰個版本淨係喺遊戲入邊先至讀到嘅咯。喺 marketplace 喺市場見到嗰個就一定係正動啲嘅，因為始終涉及遊戲規則同埋實際功能嗰啲就要用翻啲老土字眼。但係玩嘅話喺遊戲嗰度，又短又準確，又有啲得意嘅風趣嘅文化，就一定會喺嗰度。目前其他中文區還不是很了解 Apple 嘅項目，之後先至遊戲上市，有考慮到中文區宣傳一下。呢個我係好想做嘅，但係以我咁難嘅中文咧，即係我啲普通話咁渣咧，我係好想揾一啲可以，即係好似Ulon 或者K Diamond to That 或者可能喺中文社區揾一啲人咧去陪我去一齊做宣傳咧，係重要啲嘅，因為始終即係你哋都有聽過我講普通話噶啦，即係我係講得好差，即係同埋你叫我一路 stream 一路講，我仲衰添，即係嗰次嘗試一路 stream 一路用普通話解釋，簡直係一頭霧水咁講到我，亦都打到我唔知做乜咁。所以可能我負責去打機啦，做下啲介紹啦，但係實際要對打靶要講，就應該要揾翻一個好似 Ulon 或者好似我哋嘅 community overseer 或者 community rank 呢啲 wrangler 或者 council 可以幫到手嘅，就最好啦。大會我哋會做多呢啲宣傳。有遊戲之後，我哋就會做好多呢啲 road show 啦。其實有關於 Zombie Club 合作啲 Alpha League 嗎？有我約咗時間同佢哋傾嘅。但係其實佢哋 FTX 之後都有好多嘢要忙啦，要煩啦。但係我一定會同阿 Disco 傾啲嘢出嚟嘅。因為始終就係 Apostle 都係時候要出噶啦，嗰隻 Zombie Apostle。但係當然希望大家嘅 community 都熱鬧啲嘅時候先至再做啦。我可以推高啲個 price 啦。Hey Frank, hey Tay, may I ask about how efficient artifacts is, giving lots of artifacts on the spheres, for example? Artifacts are just in-game items, actually, in the dungeons. They are not NFTs. And holders will not have more efficiency on that. That would be too much of a game balance issue. But artifacts will give quite a different approach. They will give certain skills or certain apostles or certain classes change or added effects that will affect gameplay style. We'll give more details of all this closer when it comes to when it's launched. When can we burn put cushion into real stuff? It's approximate. That's fine. I think maybe in 2 months. In 2 months, they should be mailed here within that time, we can start the brand new thing. Did you beat yourself at the Thunder's boss yet? Yes, of course. My best record is at level 26, 38 minutes. 36 minutes. Or 38, I forgot. The second best record is by Lawmaster at level 28 or 29 at 50 minutes. The extra time was from restarting the level. Yes, I still hold the best records. But to be honest, I really want to play again to do a better record, but I just have too much to do, and so I didn't have time. For the past demo, though, that you guys played, my best record is currently at. I sent a screenshot out, but I forgot. Let me take a look. So the Apostle figures for the 12th collection figure. We'll have a sample at the end of February. And then from sample finalization to fully launch, I think would be March or April. I think April would be safer. So you guys will get the NFT of the action figures of the figurines first, and then we'll mince them to start. Let me post this in the technique. It's the progress they had. Go to technique. It's the summoner. Wait, how come I can't post it? Yeah, so more photos and then do it. Okay. Where are we? Where were we? Oh, finding a record. Oh, I forgot. You can ask the community. I sent it out before. I think about fastest time. What is 26 or 20, 26 minutes or something. I think I Googled 24 minutes if I recall. I just need to skip more stages by going to the campfires and stuff. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. The new boss will be in, and the boss will be adjusted certain times. Old. Hello, friend, Shawnee. Hello, Shawnee. This is my question, Shawnee me. When will stars be able to be actively used for parking services? February. I hope it was sooner too, but well, the demo is a bitch to implement. It's not. Well, yeah, there's too much code base, and these code base will last until the final version. That's why it takes so long to implement and to test and get it right. The boss actually took multiple tries to get it in. And for 2 weeks, it wasn't fucking moving until they hacked it. So but now everything is back in shape now. We have to hack our own game to get the boss moving in December. But then, as we said, these code-based structures lay the foundations for all future bosses and apostles and avatars. That's why we took so much time implementing and polishing it, so that the future implementation of new avatars and new bosses will be smoother. And these are all final base codes. Also, would there be a feature for dudes who wants to use their stars for renting? That would be 1 month after the self orbits, so probably in March. The exact detailed time should come out in the beginning of April or February when I talk to Lost Scribbler. What's the name of the dude hero in Gotham? Batman. Thanks for remembering the little joke. Maybe change your engine to a prehistoric. Alright, Johnny. PGE, one to Daria books and Frank audio books voiceovers. Why would I be the voiceover? You guys all fall asleep in chapter 2. Well, before the Daria books, I really want to work on the Dungeons and Dragon thing with Bookworm first. Hopefully he'll have time to do it. What miniseries and mini books out? But the timeline for these, we're having a big story sync up meeting for the published materials before Chinese New Year. So maybe Bookworm can give more updates over there as we finalize the published materials timeline. The story will be all more on a meta storytelling version, where it's covered from multiple angles and multiple mediums and pieced together by the users. OK， 嘿嘿，正好前期会有不删档内测吗？这次版什么时候推出？不删档的内测，我们会有内测，但是应该都会删档的啦。不删档的其实不删档的内测，其实对其他人不太公平，而且还要看时期，其实现在还不可以说的定，因为要看内测版本的时候那个进度怎么样。如果进度要拖长的话呢，我们就会推出一个不删档的版本。但是如期的话呢，就应该会内测版本应该在4月底5月开始有，正式推出之后会在6月推出。我们希望时间应该短一点这一次，但是就是不可以乱说话吧。我们会在3月4月的时候，你们都看到正式版本的时候，我们再有一个再决定的一个时候可以推出。早期的 NFT 和土地持有者会有空投之类的奖励吗？原始星球跟土地的持有者都会有一些空投的奖励的，但是代币就是只有原始星球的人可以有，但是其他游戏的 NFT 或其他的社区的奖励呢，都会定期在我们的 community 这个社区会发放的。项目早期如何更好的收入吸引更多人来参与，有没有计划？我们现在的计划其实要分3期吧，因为这个游戏的试玩版有3个 season 们其中虽然是其实都挺多东西玩的，而且都挺丰富的，但是始终只是一个很 straightforward 的一个玩法，它的 replayability 它可以摘完的游戏的这个不知道叫怎么说 replayability 不是很高。要到 Season 2有这个 roguelike 的版本以后，每次重置每次套战这个地层这个副本都会有不同的玩法，只有那个版本就可以有这真的是很特别的，而且很比这个还要丰富，而且话题性高很多。而第3个版本就是最能带来最多话题的，因为这是 PVP， 可以跟别人打，可以跟别的工会对战这样的。这个呢，这个就会吸引到更多的人。透过这每一个阶段，我们会开始逐步开放到Web2 的人。但是第1个版本跟第2个版本，其实我们都会集中在找不同的 Web3 社区去沟通，跟他们合作。因为始终我们觉得如果真的要吸引Web2 的人进来，我们需要有一个完整的游戏。而 Season 3的 demo 有了那个 roguelike dungeon 也有 PVP，只是最近比较完整。而且 Season Three 跟我们正式推出上线的阶段的时期应该是很短的，所以我们可以透过那个时期，真的会做一些跟很多现实的电竞的团队，跟他们的 KOL，跟一些 Web Two 的 KOL，还有一些 Web Two 的 publisher 合作，来做宣传。之前的前期准备，我们就会找很多不同的 Alpha Group 和 Community，先做一个推广，让所有 Web3 的人都知道 Apron 的存在。在这个时候呢，我们会在我们 Web3 这一块推出一个比较一个像我们早期 F Metaverse 的一个现象，就是想以前大家不同的社区可以一直 work together 一样的，找一个方法把 Apron 好好的宣传。同时间，我不是要求他们的人过来我们这边，我就是想跟他们达成一个合作，让大家可以共同贡献给 Apron 这个社区的一个推广的计划，同时间也会帮助他们别的社区、他们别的 NFT，嗯，在我们的社区有一些错期的功效，在 staking 也好，或在能进入我们的试玩版、风车版也好，做成一些合作，让多一些 Web3 的人可以知道。因为其中对我来说，当我们在 Season Three 推出到要找 Web2 的人的时候，他们进来我们的社区玩我们的游戏，他们能在网上听得到和看得到什么样的消息，是要透过很多不同的这些 Alpha Groups 啊、Web3 Community 他们的声音来扩大我们的声音。因为坦白说呢，他们做害比我们做得好，要有他们的帮助，才可以能推得到 Web Two 进来的时候那个气氛是怎么样。但是我们要好好的找适合的人，我们不可以找那些只想把NFT 的价格推高的人，我们要找真正对Web3有贡献的人，真正对游戏有认识的人这帮人要找他们是跟我们一起走，而不是乱推很多不同的奖励，然后找到很多想白嫖或很多只想拿奖励的人进来，去做一些比较问什么奖励啊，什么时候有怎么打奖励、分奖励这些东西，而是真的想找一些真的对游戏系统跟这个 IP 经济模型有真正贡献的人。进来我们的系统，我们就是要透过 Season One、Season Two 这里找到这些合作的人然后在 Season Three 才可以做正式的推广，让别人看得到我们的核心的团队跟核心的社区的持有人是一些比较有品质的人，而不仅是一些想过来拿奖励或 flip NFT 的人。这个是我们要非常重视的一点。但是从零开始就是先把那个刚刚他们呃波文说的我们要做一个系统性的一个介绍，要做好一点，这个才可以再说我刚说的这些。游戏会有中文版吗？demo 不会有了，但是游戏正式的会有的，因为不想花太多资源做。但是如果社区可以合作的话，会不会有一个版本？就是应该都不会有，因为不会花资源在一个在 demo 上去做不同的语言，暂时不会，应该多留资源翻译正式版本吧。只要的 NFT 可不可以玩游戏？只要的只要的可不可以玩游戏啊？其实我记得他们在正式上线的时候，他们可以玩神木尼那一块，但是他们不可以玩战斗 arena 那一块的，这个要决定一下。但是我记得上次跟 Law Master 谈是这样的，只要的是只可以玩 PVE，PVP 不可以玩，PVP 要拿 NFT 去玩的。游戏的打金收益和哪些挂钩？不太明白这个问题，但是应该就是战斗系统吧。就是如果你要去玩的话呢，你只要就不可以参与那个 Arena 的 ranking 的。参与了 Arena 边的话呢，你要带着一个 NFT，一个星球 NFT 跟4个使徒，然后参战那边的 ladder。在那边如果打得赢的话呢，那就会有一些APRS 的代币，但是每个月只有几次可以，甚至有一定数量你可以的用来打。所以很多人呢，好像现在那些对战系统呢，都是有一个不同的 tier 的，然后你就不停往上打，就说是铜金银这样，然后白金啊、专辑啊那些等等那些阶段，越高的阶段能打出来的金就越多。但是然后专门有一个每个赛季的一个排行榜嘛，每个排行榜到赛季完的时候就会有一个一次性的一个奖励派发。尝试的详情会在4神币之前说好。Okay, to March. Alright, just curious what will happen in the official game. If I used my origin apostles and they died in the game, then do I also lose without doing an Armageddon? Will I lose my original apostle? Yes, very likely. But I think there's a ability to revive them, or there will be a warning. I think that we will put for you guys to make sure that you guys revive them. Either you go back to the stage to revive them, or you have to spend a certain amount of tokens to revive them. Exact details, I think we'll send out as we get closer to season 2. More details in season 2, because that's around the time of Apostle Mints as well. So we'll set the finalized decisions over there. And implement changes to the breeding costs. Not that I know of yet. We'll see how the demo and the reception goes. We'll see if there's any need to change anything. Rain 818. Can you give me a rough idea of how players are rewarded aside from simply enjoying the game? Rough idea of how players are rewarded. Makes sense. I'm really a scholar who rents a planet, maybe 60-40. Like a 40% stake would be an anima. Yes, anima most likely. So could ask how much it would cost in USD if the price is right. I have no idea of that right now. The rough estimate right now is that the demo successful completion for all 3 depths should give you 500 anima. 500 anima should equal half the cost of 1 million black hole. It's actually half the cost of a breed. Assuming that the breeding cost is $100 US, around 0.1 ETH. Then 2 million black holes is the cost, and 1 million black hole would be $50 US, and half of that would be $25. So $25 divided by 500 anima would be their rough value that we put them in right now at this point in time, if you ask me. But it honestly depends on how we do the TGE, whether we release a small amount out there first, which I am not much for. I'm probably going to want the first ones out to be minted by the players, which will very likely be myself, actually, as I do battles. But yes, that's the general idea of how it's going to work right now. If we go for a full CEX version of it, which we can, then we will launch a small portion of it out there also, but I'm not very sure how that sounds all work. The last time I talked to the centralized exchanges, it would be under the structure that APRS gets listed directly, while Anima will need to be on the DEX for maybe like a month before it goes on to the same CEX exchanges. But it's written into the the contracts that we work with them. So that eventually both of them will be on the CX. But even no matter what we do right now, the ultimate goal is still to get them on CX, even if we do an initial TGE on the DEXs. Vivi. I think. Will the playing time sticks for the demo if I have more primeval planets? They stack, yes. If you have multiple planets in the wallet, you have more game time than just one. Will Bloodline period affects playing time? Bloodline will not. Exordium levels will. Right, I'm finished. And at 12:33, 2.5 hours, not that bad. Any more questions, you guys? Let me see if there's any hands on the stage. Let me see if you guys want to type any more questions as I grab a cup of water to drink. Okay, any hands? No hands. No hands up. Any more extra questions? The MA stage. Someone's typing. Biku's typing. Let me open up the cooldown. Turn off the cooldown, I mean. So that you guys can type more frequent questions. Okay, slow mode is off on the MA questions, so you guys want to ask more questions. Take a look at general. General. No, not really. Really? Any questions? See, Biku's still typing. So far, so started today is Feb, render is March, tokens will be out by March. Law Scribbler wants that, but I don't think I'm much of a fan of that. I will still want to do the TGA with the actual closer to actual game launch. Or at least, yeah, I want to do it with closer to game launch. I think it's good to launch the tokens without the game in sight. At least there needs to be more utility out there. I mean, you can use it to buy mini black holes, or you can use it to rent planet tracks, or you can use it to buy the stars. If we do just the stars, or do the PFP NFT with it. And I'm not a big fan right now. I still want the game to be out so that people can mint relics. Law Scribbler wants it out in March, actually. So if we do it in March, then it will definitely be on the DEX side with a very, very limited amount. Okay. Someone DM'd me with a question. During the official demo, will accounts be IP locked? Some Primeval holders asking since they are planning to have someone test the demo for them. No, I don't think it will be IP locked. It will be locked per. It's according to your marketplace account. So as long as it's from the same marketplace account, and as long as they have they use the password and everything, then it's okay. So if you want to share your marketplace password with someone and have them try, go ahead. But I'll make sure that's someone you trust. Next update on law will be after my law meeting before Chinese New Year. I think the law meeting is taking place somewhere Probably on next week, not this week because not this coming week because this coming week I have this Hong Kong crypto event I have to attend for the leaders and a lot of Chinese projects or investors coming down. So Monday and Tuesday I'll be over there. Wednesday our company office opening. I'll be busy, and Thursday and Friday I'm filled with meetings with all our investment partners all every night, all day. So next week I'll be having I'll have the story meeting. And after the story meeting, I'll get more details on the law. But if there are specific things you want to know about it, then you can type me a list in the DM, and I'll go through the list with them and see if I can incorporate some of it into my journal update or into the update that Bookworm will be doing. Because I know Bookworm wants to do a little law channel. I want to discuss some law with you guys when he has time. Which I generously told him that it's not a good idea because handling community takes time, and I'd rather have him write more stories. We'll see. Okay. Any more questions? When is next Aspirin VC fundraise or raise capital? To be honest, I'm always talking to some VCs, but right now there's only 2 million left in the private round. And I'm not keen on talking to Web3 funds. I'm talking to more Web2 publishers and funds, and I'm already talking to maybe not just a token, but having some equity. But the next big round should be after game launch, when we have the game, and then we have the animation trailer, and then we'll talk to Web2 funds to talk about the equity fundraise, where we raise funds based on Apron as a franchise, raising funds for the movie, for the expansion of Apron, and for the larger marketing fund for when we do a more bigger global push as a franchise, which will require a heck ton of a marketing budget. State for Eden gameplay. What's Eden gameplay? You mean God game? The God game side of things. The best thing is probably when we see the possibility of another bull run, or at least in the bottom of the winter cycle, or at least when there's something bigger. I think one of the better signs, hopefully, to do marketing or do anything or plan anything ahead. I don't see any great signs actually. I mean, some alpha groups say maybe when the BAYC other side comes with the second part of the showing around the end of March would be a good time. But to be honest, I don't know, man. It's a good time to. That would be around our time of our season 2. So that would be a good time to get the word out then. But will it be a good time to rescue the market with BAYC's other side? I highly doubt that. And I have no idea what they're trying to do over there. I mean, I don't know. The other side trailer is just a cinematic trailer. I don't even know if there's gameplay. Alright, let me see if there's any questions. Is there a way to start scholarship with the demo? I don't think so. I don't think so. No. I don't think we want to focus on too much earning capabilities. I mean, play to earn and scholarships is a function. But the quality of users that these typically attract may not be the best audiences right now. If we want to find more core gamer audiences, older audiences, then we'll want to focus more on core gamers instead of scholars and grinders. You have to take note of that. So there are questions. And yes, sadly, scholarship does invite more grinders than more gamers. That's a good answer, Esther. I probably on Steam or Google Play. Google Play, yes. Steam, no. I think Steam banned NFTs. Well, who knows? Maybe they'll open up again after some time when the proper Web3 game shows itself. Is that a problem? Hopefully. Will be Google Play on official launch, but also we'll also have our installers and APKs. We'll have a launcher further down the line. Hopefully in season 2 we'll have a launcher. For season 1 it's just a zip file that we'll set out. Any other questions? And type in general or EMA. No questions. I'll be going back to write my speech first on the 11th. I need to write 2 speeches. One is for my team, and one is for the guests and the investors, so to speak. I don't know. Hopefully the movie should be out. More merchandise, and then a secondary game, a Tamagotchi game. This year, hopefully, in talks with Disney. I don't know, and rejected them in the face, like that. Um, Cat screaming outside having sex. Do you want to come on stage and play it for us? You can come on stage and play the sound. I'd love to hear what that sounds like. Any other questions? I'll be going to write some speeches. Anyone? I use different teams depending on the map and different skill trees. To become tall, get taller parents. Eat your vegetables? I don't know, that's what I told my son. Probably eat more meat then. The Tamagotchi game is around that line, Phil. I would do a Fall Guys version for that. We'll see you. I wanted to add the Fall Guy one. Remember Lawmaster giving me a shock when I asked. Well, I'm pretty serious on this one. But this would have to integrate with the planets. So the planets become the Fall Guy stage. Selected planets. Well, maybe not. We'll see. But it would have to require more on-chain functionality. I mean, on-chain connectivity, like turning it into an on-chain game. And so the planet data can be drawn. We can actually do submissions like how Sandbox did it, the God Game Sandbox on the mobile, not the crypto sandbox game. That's a bit further down the line. Let's focus on the game itself first. To be honest, I honestly think the the game itself, the uniqueness, can already attract quite a lot of people, especially when the esports teams come. Drink a small amount of alcohol, but not to the point that you get drunk. Yep, hope I'll get it. Maybe you check off before you sleep. Oh, or read a book. Want me to recommend you some books to read? Textbooks? Phil is very proud of his Fall Guys abilities. I'll see you as crypto unicorns. They turn in the IO games and the unicorn games. It's not a bad idea. Hmm. take a long time for them to implement that graphic quality though. Let's just stick with the I/O quality first. Any more questions? Actually, I don't have much girlfriends throughout my life. I only had 3 girlfriends. And in high school, I didn't have girlfriends. I was more into partying and drinking with a lot of people. But I was always more focused on drinking. I had 1 girlfriend in high school, 1 girlfriend in college. And, 2 girlfriends in college. And then after college, it's my wife. Point. Who's Paul? Demo Battle Pass 追汉有一条新的问题 Griffin Demo Battle Pass 没办法叠加，所以希望的 Battle Pass。Demo Battle Pass 的奖励不会叠加，它的时间可以叠加，需要多的时间，因为如果你想参加那些排名的奖励的话，比如说你想打快一点啊，那你也要研究那些游戏，所以要多加时间去练习嘛。或如果将来是打积分，不会积分的，都应该是打排名榜那些，应该除非你是一个天生的奇才，打一次就可以进的话，那就不用想了，但是应该要多练习吧。嗯，还有的就是第三季那个 PVP 应该就是用谁赢的最多来做排行榜这样的，但是就是赢的最多的应该只是给你参加那个电信比赛的一个资格，而不是奖励不然别人可以farm 这个赢来排行榜，那就不好了。所以我刚刚说的叠加是没办法叠加奖励，但是这是可以多拿时间嗯来练习吧。Okay. Between the Syrian world and Aperon universe? Uh, not yet. There will be. Shopkeeper. We'll see. My backstory has been told many times. And the AMAs I introduced myself. Which part of my backstory? Nothing more. I'll take the night off and go write speeches. The backstory of my startup for honey makers. Oh, my backstory. It's just being a gamer and trying to start my own game. Oh, it's quite a long one. I remember I told that one before, but it's a really long run. Will be another time. Let me see if there's any others. If there are no other questions, I'll talk a little about it. Mm. Most of you know, you can tell again next time people ask you to say show them the video. My backstory starts from college. I have absolutely no idea what I was planning to do after graduate, so I went for the most generic degrees. I went for econ and math because um, well, you can pretty much get into any job with these two degrees. And my college was known for econ. I'm expectant. Wisconsin Madison was had a pretty high econ major standing. So yeah, I had economics and math as my major. And then I also met a professor I pretty much liked in philosophy. So I almost had a minor degree. I almost had another major. I went for a triple major if I stayed another semester, but I had a minor in philosophy. And then I went for the Goldman Sachs internship, and then after that, I got into Goldman Sachs for like a month. Because I didn't really want to go to Goldman Sachs, but like that's some of the best jobs out there back then. So yeah, I went to Chicago, Goldman Sachs, where I met my mentor, who's moving to McKinsey, and he asked me to go with him. And so yeah, sure, why not? And then I went to McKinsey for like a month in Goldman Sachs. Um, and then McKinsey I worked for 2.5 years around the Midwest. Um, I wanted to stay longer so I have a better resume before I go back to Hong Kong. I always want to go back to Hong Kong. My heart is always back in Asia in my hometown. So I want to go back, but I want to go back when I was a manager in Chicago. But back then, the U.S. visas, the working visas, they are starting to withhold them because there's just too much overseas immigrants or overseas workers, I guess. And so they asked me to apply for a green card, which they will apply for me. But I said I don't want to pay double taxes, and I have no intention to become an American. So I said, oh, I'll go back early. Then when I was going to go back, I was thinking, oh, what should I go back for? Management consultant, or what should I go? And my mentor say, the money is changing from iBanks to private banks to equity funds and tech. So I should really look into those. And so I went back to Hong Kong. Before I went back, I looked for private equity fund jobs, and then I got into Scythe. And so I'm back in Hong Kong in 2009. Uh, Met a lot of friends. Back in Hong Kong, I'm super happy. Being on the buy side of things, getting to invest in other projects, doing due diligence at first, but then getting into a crap ton of drinking because it's Asia, it's China, so all businesses involves drinking, and I'm natural when it comes to drinking because I've been drinking pretty much ever since I'm 17 or 16. So yeah, I had handled it pretty well. I met a lot of people like me, and my drinking days were crazy. But still, I did a lot of the work, and uh, and I watched as the entire tech and startup funds boom, and I saw the rise of mobile games, and then came to me that I really want to start my own fund, so to speak. Back then, but a lot of my connections are from my old boss. I can't really exactly turn on him like that. So I had a gardening period of around 2 years that I set before I started my own fund. So yeah, and during these 2 years, why not start something on my own? I mean, I can start do a startup, and then 2 years later, I'll set up my fund and I'll inject funding into my own company and turn it into an IPO. So why not? So yeah, I looked into something and I was gaming. Of course, it's the first choice I came to because I love games so much. And looking at the mobile games and the profitability, I think, hey, let's make a mobile game. And I began to look into mobile games. And I designed my own first game, Apparent, on the notebook, trying to think of ideas and games and higher concepts. Through the most fun time I've ever had. And then while I was designing, I was just traveling around Asia, Southeast Asia, and Hong Kong to meet a lot of different game development teams to talk about Apparent on a notebook and a PowerPoint presentation. And not a lot of teams satisfied what I'm seeking. And a lot of teams think I'm crazy because the scope I'm going for back then is already huge. It's a card game, so there's battle, there's the card game simulation. It's not an easy game, and the first question most of them ask me is, "Are you sure you have enough money? Or are you sure you are committed in the time to it?" I'm like, "Heck yeah!" But yeah, they made a lot of teams. Finally, settled with the team from Shanghai, mainly because of TK, the guy I said who invented the dude and the Chocobo. He's from the Final Fantasy thing. And so we started the team in Shanghai. Well, it turns out that guy no longer wants to draw, and that team has their own plans to make their own game first instead of Apparent. And it's just trying uh, to fool around with me while they take my money to do their own shit, which I found out like second week. And so I cut off the entire operation and just came back to Hong Kong. But back then, Orange was the guy who introduced TK and everyone to me. So I talked to Orange and everything, and we tried to restructure and plan around it. And that's Funny Makers. What really happened over the first 2 years was that I started with something that I tried to really just try to make a profit off of and to casually turn into a real passion. I mean, been working in something that I don't really have much qualms about for 9 years. I mean, it's okay. The money is good. The people I meet is great. Things I learn is wonderful. But having the ability and the luxury to really work on something you naturally love is incredible. It does turn gaming sometimes into more of a critique and review, but at the same time, I really enjoyed the process. And although the people that you meet and work with are absolutely insane and different, I think there's also a draw that I want to stay and make it good and happen. So instead of starting my own fund, I even invested more of my money to make sure that I can turn myself into a publisher and self-publish and also develop a better quality game. And then the dream continued to grow and everything. And then soon it's been 7 years now looking back into this. Mm, yeah, that's pretty much the backstory for the Vegas. Starting the stories from these past 7 years. I think the most interesting part you guys are in already is the final year, is the year last year when I got into 2 years ago. It was the studying of the crypto. It was already pretty fun, but it was last year when we actually got in and started the community. That's when and get the funding and the mints and getting the game finally in place is the most happening throughout the past 7 years. So you guys skipped all the boring parts and just remained in the main part. But still, it seems like a lifetime, 1 year in crypto. So yeah, Hong Kong have a BNO. It's not exactly a British citizenship. The Chinese zodiac sign is a rat. Yes, I'm a rat. Rat you out, rat. How old's your brother? There's no other questions. I'll close the EMA channel first. With the ability to type. I need zodiac sign as Pisces. Nice. How old is Piku? 26? 27? Okay. 38 now. Wrong. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so I'll just head out to do the speech thing. Before I sleep. Alright. Good night, guys. Good night. Oh, well, cool. Nice. Alright. Thank you again for the recording. Sniper, or try to compile the recordings to the EME archives. Thanks. Alright, guys. Have a good night. See you guys. And I'll be doing alpha sneak peeks back again next week, starting the setup in the alpha spec ops. Alright, good night. Just go to the sniper, you can see it in the AMA channel, AMA questions. You just put a link there. Alright, bye.